Hello. Good morning, evening, afternoon, etc. Hope everyone is having a pleasant Sunday. And if you're in the UK, halfway through a 3-day weekend. Joe, hello. Quacko, hello. More Lua today. Hello, Harand. More Lua, indeed. I think there's a couple of tests I didn't write last time that we should have, so I think we'll write those first. There's just a couple just to test a bit of extra functionality, or more to probe potential areas of bugs. Julian, hello. And then I want to build another abstraction to make things easier, and by easier I mean more templates. And then I want to try and wire up our Vector3 C++ class into Lua, which I think will make writing Lua scripts easier, but might be a little bit of work. It's a little bit finicky to do the wiring up. Once it's done, it's done. We can test it, and then we can just use Vector3 inside of our scripts, which would be pretty cool. I think that's the only one we're going to need. We could do Quaternion, but I don't think we need it yet. But I think Vector3 is going to be the most important one, and maybe my brain has gone dead already, which is a good start to the stream. Maybe the message bus, but we'll see. I'm not going to do it yet. I think Vector3 is the most important one, because then I think we can rewrite all of our levels in Lua, and then we're laughing. So it is a bit of a pain to write the API glue, but I think there's stuff to be learnt there. I think there's interesting things we can do. I think it's a bit of fun. I think it's worth doing. And again, I'm trying to do as much from scratch as possible, so I think we will stick through it. I'm hoping we can do it without any macros. That's my plan. My plan is zero macros. Matrix maybe, yeah. I think basically what we'll do is Emery, 20 gifts. That's incredible. Thank you so much. What a kind gesture. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Wow. I'm a bit taken back. Congratulations on finishing your finals. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for giving a lovely gift to the community. Everyone gets a gift. I think that might be everyone here. Okay, well, thank you. That's this animation is going to be going for a while now, which is exciting. And then AC resubscribed on Twitch. I can't keep up. There's just too much going on. Let's write some code. Hello. If you are a member now, do head over to Discord. There's like a members only room. You get early access to the videos. I am ahead of schedule for the next video. I try and do one a month, and it's the 4th, and I'm hoping to film tomorrow if I can finish getting the script done. So I'm hoping we can get a video out next week, which would be pretty sweet. And then yeah, we can everyone can watch it. Okay, so there's a couple of tests I missed. So what I really want to do is I really want to support multiple returns from Lua, because Lua supports multiple returns, right? You can do return comma separated like you can in Python, and we will eventually patch that through to a tuple in C++. But just for where we are now, I just want to check that works. And then I also we've not actually checked, we can call multiple functions from any of these tests. So if there's any stack mishaps, we won't actually potentially not be executing that, because we just destroy the script at the end and we never try and call anything else. So I think there's just like 2 tests we're missing. So I want something like where's one which does a full test, something like this, 75G. So function call multiple args multiple returns. Something like that. It's still going. That's right. I can cut that out for the shorts, which is obviously why I'm really here is to generate shorts. So let's do something like val1, val2, val3, and then we'll do val1 plus 1, val2 plus 2, val3 plus 3. Yeah, maybe. Get nums. So we need to set the function, and then is it set arg? I've already forgotten. So let's set argument. One script. Where's my header? Script. Set argument. Oh, do I only support string arguments? Okay, let's just quickly change that. That's easy to do. Stood int 64t. Lua script. Set arg 82g. Stood int 64t. Push number. I think. We'll see. We'll test that as well. Man, is that the thing three blue, one brown, or whatever his name is? I should know better. He uses the maths animation thing. I think I've had a play around with it, and I thought it was pretty cool, and then never did anything else. Like a lot of things, I thought it was really cool, and then never did anything else with it. Yeah, it's a really cool bit of a kit. So set argument 1, 2, and 3, and then execute. So we're going to have 3u. So basically, what I want to do next is abstract away all this misery, so we don't have to do set function, set argument, execute, get result, get result, get result. Because this is error prone and gross, and I do not like it, and neither should you. R2 and R3, R2, D2 is May the 4th. And then we'll do res1, 1 to R3, and then this should be 2, this should be 4, and this should be 6. What we're doing, I'm running tests at the moment, but we're integrating Lua into our little C++ game. Indeed, yes, maybe we will. Why am I using C++ and Lua? I'm using C++ because I know it. Well, I mean, I know it reasonably well, and it gives me the level of access that I want and the level of control that I want. I'm using Lua because it's easy-ish to integrate and self-contained and a simple language. I thought we did this all before, and we all came to the conclusion that number was a. I thought we came to the conclusion that Lua number was 64 bits. Oh no, because it's a float. So I'm being silly, isn't it? Is it push integer? It's push integer. I'm being silly. Obviously a number is a float. Obviously. There should be push integer and push real. But hey ho. Oh, why not just use C++? Because I want quicker iteration, so I'm going to spend a lot of time writing a lot of code, and then in theory should allow us to iterate on level design and stuff. I want the levels to be driven by Lua script, so it's easier to iterate and opens it up for other people to write levels easier as well. I will not look up that, but maybe I will later. But res1, which is 2. What have I done? Have I... Which order they get pushed in? We are... I'd say we're about halfway through ish, roughly. I think it'll be. I think we're at stream. This is stream 43. I reckon we'll get up to about stream 100. I reckon we'll get into triple digits potentially. So yeah, about halfway through. Scroll up to the previous test. Yes, but I've not returned multiple results yet. This is the first time I'm doing it. I don't think I push in multiple. Do I push in multiple args? No, it's the first time I'm doing those. Yes, so I need to get those in reverse order, right? So in fact, this will be R6, R2. Yeah, so 200 streams and we'll be done. Okay, yes, nice. Sorry, I was pushing them on in the wrong order. Okay, that works. So the last one is quickly just to have a couple of functions that we can call. Function. So let's do multiple function calls. So this will get num1, num return num plus 1, and then R2, and then okay. So hopefully this is kind of obvious what I'm doing. I'm going to register this checks a lot of other stuff like what happens. Can we register multiple functions? Do they get called? So we're going to want to do script dot. Let's scope these so it's a bit more obvious what's going on. So this will set argument 42. One argument, one result. Get the result out. Get the result out equals 43, and then we will do this again. Oh, what? Hang on. I thought I was. This is just setting the one to call. Okay. The point of get result is to just return the result value at the top of the stack. The abstraction we'll build next will call that multiple times to build up a tuple. That's why I don't really like out arguments, but this makes sense for the next design I want to do, because then I just have the same name, and then I can use templates to basically default construct the type, pass it in, get it set, pull it out. Or actually, I think I just end up running through the tuples and just passing references to all the elements. But basically, this is why we use this. I'm not a big fan of out parameters, but it will make sense for this. 43, and then that'd be 45. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's easy to overload. Okay, fine. That seems to work. I'm happy that we call both of those. So I'm just gonna. So that was add set argument stood u int 64T, and then correct, more tests. Nice. Okay, so now I'm going to try and remember because I have done something similar to this before, all the template metaprogramming. Let's get the script up. Just in 64T. Did I make a mistake somewhere? Oh yes, well done. Can I reword that? I can. Nailed it. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with source scripting. I'm going to call this script runner because the idea is I quite like building out abstractions in layers, so kind of a bunch of primitives that do like a simple thing reasonably well and reasonably intuitively, but you have to, and then something on top of that which composes them, so you kind of get both levels of flexibility. You can either go down and do it all individually, or you can use something on which, or you can basically use a driver for that level of functionality. Yeah, that's cool. Lazy gets great. Modern C++ is great. Hopefully you're getting to use 2023. That's what I would consider like postmodern, I guess, but I consider 20 to be modern now. Okay, so let's do pragma once, and then let's do namespace game. Okay, and then let's bring in our scripting Lua script. So the way I envision this working is thus. Class script runner. Okay. And then have some publics and have some privates. And then I want to have a Lua script reference. Okay. Lua script. And the reason for this is I want the script runner to be very like a similar design to maybe like scoped lock or unique lock. It's one of those things it just owns a reference to something, drives it. It's super lightweight. It's literally there to drive the innards. So like, yeah, mutex. Stub mutex is a good example of this. Like it has lock and unlock, but you would rarely actually call that manually. You would put that into a high level abstraction like scoped lock or unique lock, and that would do the driving for you. So this is what script runner is going to do. We're going to give it an existing Lua script that's already constructed, that's already gone through, set up the Lua state and all that sort of stuff, and then this will just provide a convenience way of calling all those methods. That's kind of the plan. So from that we want script runner wants script run. We want it to be non-copyable. Yeah, because the whole point is like this is like I know I have the script object and I now want to just run a bunch of I want to execute a function on it. So this will effectively provide one public method which is like execute, and it will handle all the gubbins for us. That's is that I don't understand the economy of Twitch. Is that a lot? Like what can you do with those? Can you feed your family with those? I'm kind of tempted to make it non-movable as well, in much the same vein as scope locked, because there's literally no reason to be ever moving this around. Like this exists purely as an abstract. This is instead of macros, right? You write this to expand out all the bits you need to do, and there's no need to transfer ownership. There's no need to move it around. And then I don't need to worry about the copy or move assignment because this is a reference, which means it is inherently not copy. But I think for completeness, we should probably do it in case we ever change that design, and then it would sneak in. Porn Theory, resubscribe. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yeah, thank you. I need to set up rewards. Oh, so much to do. Okay, maybe I'll see if I can come up with a point sync for you. Oh, is that like, I see, is that like when people play games and like it spins a wheel of misery or something like that? That's how you kind of influence with them. Playing random boom cards does sound fun. I think the answer is probably no, but that is quite amusing. Okay, now let's actually do something. Yeah, I dual stream. It's pretty much, it's the thing now to dual stream. There's almost no reason not to. I think this is going to be header only because I think it's going to be mostly templates anyway. So let's just keep that there. Tests hash include. Do I want a different? I think probably want a different test file just to keep them separate. I like one test file for one thing. So let's just settle this up quickly. Tests script runner tests.cp hash include gtest hash include scripting script runner test script runner simple. So, you know how we start. Just to check everything's wired in, because one time it wasn't, and it bit me and it made me very upset. Got a lot of tests now. The old script runner. Okay. Yeah, I think Haran is desperately trying for me to remove ranges from my code. I've not done a video because it's not really on my IDE, so this comes up every now and then, and like it's not really like in line with the other content I do, and that doesn't mean I shouldn't do it because it's nice to do different things, but I've got no plans to do like one on my setup at the moment. I'm more than happy to discuss it live or on Discord, and I've got a Git repo somewhere with all my dot files. Maybe there should be a bang dot command. Did I mean to? Okay, right. So that's good. That's running. So let's go back to script runner, and we can have the script runner tests up here. Okay, so also my setup is a little bit janky. Not gonna lie, a little bit janky. Okay, let's try and do this bit by bit. So let's try and abstract away the argument setting first. So I think I'm going to want something like auto execute string the script. Oh, can't use string view. God damn it. Give ourselves a string, and then let's do constant string function name, and then template class args, right? So this is args. What did I say? I said a little bit. What did I say a little bit about? I've already forgotten. Every time you say Spyro will patch random, that could be interesting. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, great question on Twitch. Why string reference and not string view? Because eventually, I'll tell you exactly why. Because I got quite angry about this last stream. Eventually, I will call down to set function. And this goes into Lua get global, and this requires a C string, and string view is not guaranteed to be null terminated, which is annoying. I don't think Dascandy is here. Hopefully he's off working on my paper, well, his paper, but the one that I want for a Z string view, so we might get that at some point. But for now, because you cannot guarantee string view is null terminated, it is incorrect to pass it to a C API, so I have to use a std string. So yeah, good question, and I got particularly grumpy about this last time. Okay, what am I doing? So I need to do something like... so you shouldn't have an anonymous namespace in header files, because that will then bring it through to every single translation unit. So I'm going to stick all the internal gubbins here in an impl, which is kind of just a hint that you shouldn't be messing around with it. Okay, would I assume Z string view would be immutable? So is there a remove suffix on string view? I thought they were immutable. I could be wrong. I'd have to check. But if you're making it smaller, you can. If it is mutable and you're making it smaller, I presume you can just patch in the new null byte. Okay, so basically I want something like template class head auto set arg head void Lua script, and then I should be able to do script dot set argument stood forward head, right? Oh, I see. It returns another view. I guess that probably wouldn't be part of the API, because yeah, there was no way you'd be able to guarantee that without mutating it. Okay, so this is kind of where I want to get to. So I want to be able to set an arg with the script and some parameter, and then it will do it. So if there's a single arg, this will work. But then we're going to want something like templates class head class tail auto set arg Lua script nope, I don't want to peel the head off. No, sorry, I do want to peel the head off. Get there in the end. Head, tail, and then, so if I'm given more than one argument, I can set arg forward just a single one. Okay, so this will peel the front one off and call this, which will call the actual underlying script method, and then I should be able to set arg script stood forward tail tail dot dot dot. There's is it Tour of C++ by Bjarne Stroustrup? I think that's supposed to be quite good, as it's by the man himself. I think there's like learningsc++.com or something, which is supposed to be pretty good. I think those are kind of good places to go to start with. So yeah, basically peel off each template arg and then set them one at a time. So this will do that repeated set arg, but all from a template, all from templates, which is nice. So what we should be able to do now is do script dot set function name. We're going to build this up bit by bit because there's a couple of things this is missing. Obviously I'm not doing the return arguments either, and then we should be able to do set args. I guess it's only an internal method, but so args script, and then keep on forwarding. Forward args, right, okay. So that, I think, should work. It won't work if there's no arguments, in which case I think we can just do something like I think we just define one with no args, right? And it'll just call that, and it won't do anything. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of it. So this will remove the need to call set function set arg, which is error prone, because you just give it the function name and all the arguments you want to send it, and then it will send it. So let's write ourselves a test for that. I'm gonna want some Lua code. The script tests. Let's take one which takes an arg and returns it. See, so single arg, no return. There's nothing wrong with exceptions. See, every single short that gets loads and loads of always gets loads and loads of grumpy comments. That just means I'm right. In fact, actually no, I need something which has a side effect, don't I? So I don't know why I'm doing this one. I want to do the print one, don't I? This is the one I want. So script So we should now be able to do hash include scripting script runner. Sorry, scripting Lua script, and then so we've got our Lua script. So now we should be able to do auto. I think it can be const actually. I think it can be const auto runner equals game script runner script, and then do all this goes out the window, and then all we have to do then is do runner.execute my print hello world. Yeah, I mean, there might be a function that has no arguments, right? It's a pretty weird restriction to put on it. Yes, I just realised that. I was surprised it didn't error out before. This will be impl setups. No ADL for us today. Sad face. What have I done wrong? What have I done? In my mind, this is perfect. Need to add function to script. How? But I don't. There's no adding, right? Isn't it? Doesn't it all get added in the constructor? Isn't this what this p call does? It effectively will register all the function calls, and there's no error anywhere, right? Like set function would throw if it didn't exist. Oh shoot! I know exactly what I've done wrong. Oh, what a fool! I haven't actually executed it, have I? So this will be 0 size of args 0. Remind me when this will expose later when I add the multiple return types that this is 0 and needs to be changed, because I will forget. I'll be like, why is it not working? Okay, this will work. First time catching the stream, glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying it. Nailed it. Okay, let's just check with multiple arguments, and then I think we can move on with our lives. Single multiple arg. So message num. I'm going to assume I can just in Lua just do string concatenation. So this is it dot dot dot. If this works, this is nice because this showcases the power of what we've got. We literally just give it arguments and something template magic. It all figures it out. Okay. I think we can simplify this. He's got it. He's got it. He knows it. It has to be an expression, right? Is that right? So we do script dot set argument. I'm just going to do args without the forwarding because I can't remember how it works. And then comma dot dot dot. All right. I've got to pass it in, haven't I? It's got the tests now, so we'll see if this still works. Boom. Get rid of it. Or you, go away. Wait. Wait. Does this mean I can... Not normally, but I like to write tests as I go along, especially if it makes it easier to kind of figure out the API. I'm not that super into the kind of TDD ethos. I think if it works for you, great, have at it. For me, I like to write tests kind of in parallel to help me figure out what I'm doing and to make sure I write the tests. But yeah, I'm not super into like the sort of strict TDD mentality. Script dot set argument args dot. Well done. Oh, hang on. Oh, why does that not work? Oh yeah, well done. Yeah, I don't need to pass it in, do I? Nice, I like that. I really like that. And now I can get rid of all this chuff here. They're not R-value references, they're forwarding references because they're templated, so they will become either L values or R values depending on the value category of the argument that is passed to them. So by declaring them as ampersand here as a template, i.e. forwarding reference, I preserve the value category as they travel through the function. I don't know if that's like confusing for anyone. I'm happy to explain it, but basically something templates, something lambdas, something templated lambdas, we can fold and auto effectively generate all those set arg calls just from the arguments we pass it. So there's no need for macros, there's no need for any like misery like that. We can get it all to do within the actual language itself. That's probably worth a commit. So initial script runner with args. Okay, let me try and explain it a little better. I am not sure, as I'm not sure what the particular issue you are referring to is, so I can't say whether it's fixed or not. I assume the operator call itself is templated, which might have some implications on where and when it is called. I'm not really sure. Basically, so let me start off with what we're trying to do. So let's look at our tests, right? So if we go, here's a good example, right? So this test here, right? It has 3 arguments and 3 return values. So based on the abstraction that we wrote originally with the Lua script object, which is just effectively C++ifying the C API, that's what it's really doing. It's the same C API, but just in terms of C++ vocabulary types. We have to manually call set function, we have to manually call set the arguments, we have to manually execute, and then we have to manually call get result, get result, get result. This is incredibly error prone and tedious. Every time I want to call a function, I do not want to have to do all this chuff, right? So just focusing on these bits here, so the set function name, the set argument, and the set execute, I've built a little abstraction which will automatically drive the calling of this based on the arguments the user supplies. So in the first instance, we've got function name, and we call function set function. That's the abstraction there done, right? We just give it a string, and it automatically calls set function. So now, whenever we call execute, we have to give it a function name, which means it is impossible for us to not set the function name. It's impossible to miss this call because it's part of this abstraction. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. The second bit is, well, how do we call set argument, set argument, set argument? Like 0 to n times, right? So this is a variadic template, which means it will take 0 to n arguments, right? And then we also pass these in as function parameters. So the type is deduced, but we can basically call function name, comma, 0 to n things, right? What I've got here is a little template, a little lambda. The formatting on it is a little bit grim. Let me just try and temporarily squeeze this out a bit. What it does is it calls the set argument and then with a fold operator, and what the fold operator does is it expands this for each type in this pack. This is called a template parameter pack. It will have 0 to n elements in it, and what this does is this fold here basically says call set argument with the first argument, the second argument, the third argument. So it automatically expands into all these, like the compiler will automatically expand that for us. You fold over an operator, and the comma just happens to be an operator that you can fold over. You can fold over plus, you can fold over any of the mathematical operators, so you can sum up numbers quite easily by just folding them all together, as an example. And then I just wrap all this up in a little lambda, and then I just invoke it here. So hopefully that kind of clears things up a little bit. I appreciate it's a little bit grim. So yeah, hopefully that's of use. It's using quite modern C++ stuff. That folding was 17, explicit templated lambdas was either 17 or 20, and I think variadic ones was with that as well. I know, right? It's quite hard it does make it a little bit harder for the tooling, but I think what we get out of it is absolutely perfect. Is actually not perfect. It's absolutely what I want, which is I can now just execute a script name with n arguments. I just give it the arguments. Yeah, we're going to do results next. I wanted to do this first, and then because I just wanted to build it up bit by bit, and now we're going to figure out how to do the results, because the results is interesting as well. I think we should have one with no args as well, just to check that the base case is fine. So let's do no arg, no return. Again, I'm not too fussed about. I'm a big believer in relying on previous unit tests. So if I've unit tested a bunch of primitives and I've checked all their error cases and I've checked all their edge cases, I'm happy to then not kind of retest them when reusing them. So I'm not bothering checking all the error handling, because we know that is already done by the tests for Lua script. That's kind of then, because now I'm just testing the script runner logic. If script runner checked for additional errors, then we would test for those. if that makes sense. Again, kind of my ethos on testing is once something is tested, it's kind of safe and okay to use in other tests. Okay, C was 20, cool. Yeah, so args is it depends how familiar you are with templates, but it is a pack of parameters that the compiler knows about and then can use when generating code. Because templates aren't code, they generate code when you instantiate them. It's kind of useful to think about like a template is a blueprint. I mean, it's a template for want of a better word, but it's a blueprint that when you instantiate it, when you call it, the compiler will then see that call site, take all the template parameters, including all the ones it's inferred, and then generate code for it. So it will then expand into, so in the test application, right, there will be a execute method which takes no args. There'll be one that takes string and an int. There'll be one that just takes a string. It will generate 3 versions of this function, right? Each with those as the actual parameters. So it kind of, and this is why templates can lead to a bit of binary bloat, because it will literally generate 3 distinct copies of this function, like in the assembly, with those different arguments. Yeah, you could do it in an array. Like it gets hard with different types. And I'm fully committed to the type system. I want to lean into it as much as possible. I want to preserve the individual types. So again, when we support like vector3, we'll be able to pass in a game-specific vector3 object, and then this template here will expand out and have that as an argument, which means it will then get folded over. It will call the correct set argument. Hope that kind of makes sense. Like this is quite advanced template programming, but this is not. I wouldn't say this was beginner level template programming. Okay, let's think about return. So I think for one, let's drop the void off here, right? I want auto return type deduction. I want auto return type. I want return type deduction. So I want the function, which is now a template, to deduce the correct type based on what we return. And that'll be important because basically think of it this way. There are 3, in my mind, there are 3 different return types, right? If a function returns nothing, okay, execute should return void. If a function returns a single argument, execute should return that single argument as that type. If script returns multiple types, this should return that as a tuple of those types. That's kind of, in my mind, how this is going to work. So I think we need more templates, right? So I can have multiple, because these will be, args here will be deduced from the argument types. I'm actually able to have, I should be able to have a second parameter pack, which I explicitly state. So we'll always have to say what the return types we're expecting. It cannot, at compile time, deduce what will be in a runtime script. That's just doesn't work like that. So we'll always have to say, hey, I'm calling this script with these arguments, and these are the things I expect in return. And then it will pack those together. I'm going to take a brief pause. While I mull over what I've set out to do. Does the double ampersand notation here refer to move semantics as well? So the double ampersand is for an R-value reference, right, which enables move semantics. There's kind of a distinction there. To be extra complicated, actually, because this is a template, this is now what's called a forwarding reference, which means it will become either an L value or R value reference, depending on the value category of the thing you put in. But again, this is quite advanced C++. I feel free to just like roll your eyes back and gloss over that bit. Indeed. Right. Okay, so at some point after execute, we're going to want to return something. I reckon, right? I reckon. Okay. If I didn't give it any return arguments, just return, and that will become void. Actually, there you go, you got 2. Else if const expr size of, so size of r will get you the number of elements in the pack, right? So this will tell me how many results I've asked for. Doing one's a little bit of a pain because it's actually a little bit gnarly to get a single argument out of the pack without either finessing it out. But I'm just going to cheat for now and just use a tuple. So remember, we've only got 1 result type, so I might have to add more to make this make sense. Okay, so I was like stood, sorry, auto res equals stood tuple r, right? Okay, which will just have 1 element in it, and then I should be able to do that something like script dot get result stood get naught res, right? So this will return the first and only element as a reference, which will then get passed through to get the underlying get result, and it will match whichever one we've got. Again, fully type safe, all part of the type system. And then I can return stood get naught res. So now, in this, remember, const expr if means it only gets compiled if this compile time evaluates to true. So if at compile time it knows I only have 1 argument, it will only compile this, which means my return will be a single type, which means auto will deduce to that. And then on the final case, right, this is where we've got multiple ones. I think I probably want something like this. But I think I'm going to need to use some template shenanigans to unpack this. Because don't I need to unpack them also in reverse order? So I don't know, even if I could fold, which I don't think I can. So basically this, and then like something set rep vals. Oh, someone didn't remind me, but it's just popped into my head. I don't. Do I want to look? Outrageous. I got my speakers off because I'm streaming, but I assume it's outrageous. Thanks, Weko. Glad you're here. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna probably finesse this. Let's have a think. So there might be a better way of doing it, but I'm happy to kind of. Oh, can you do it with integer sequence? Okay. What I'm thinking of is something like stood size t I stood size t size, right? Class t auto get return, like t result. Okay, and then Lua script. So we should be able to do script dot get result. I don't think tuples are slow. Like they're just a compile time. I think they're just a multi-nested. When I've implemented them before, it's a basically template expansion on inheritance. So you have each element is effectively each of the elements is a type in the inherited chain. So if you have 3 elements, you have a base class which is inherited 3 times, and each one adds another one. They're basically structs, and then the compiler kind of chews through most of it and gets you what you want. So I don't think they're that slow. Not slow enough that I would worry about it, at least not in this case. Always profile, always check. Right, what am I doing? No, actually what I want to do is I want to pass t should be a tuple. I've never heard of luau, so that's why I've not used it, but that's cool. If it's I prefer explicit typing. Maybe I'll have a look at it, but we're kind of halfway through building this out now. So I think T is the I'm wondering again if I can just do this with a I'm actually wondering if I'm better off just doing this with a lambda const auto get result. Oh, yeah. This side. Can I? No, because then again I need to recursively call it, and to recursively call template lambdas is a massive pain. Don't you then need deducing this, which is starting to get a little bit complex? Just keep it up here for the moment. Maybe I'll have a play around with it in a minute. So I think I want to get result script res. Okay, so I want this to fill the tuple. So result here is actually a bit of a result. I'm gonna put result tuple. I don't really like putting names in there, but like that. But it does. I think this makes this a little bit more clear what's going on, because now what I can do is I can do std get size minus I minus 1, right? This will get the last. This will set the last element, which will be the top of the stack, which I need to call first. I'm going to say that again because I think that's right. I need to, given 3 things, I need to set the last one first because it'll be the top of the stack, and then the second one, then the first one. I need to set them right to left. So this will be 0 size of R, but I am wondering if I can remove the need to pass the size in explicitly and template it further. Let's see if we can get it first going first. If size is 3, I need to get the second number. I need to get 2 first. So 3 minus 0 minus 1 will be 2. No std ranges yet. Okay, well maybe I'll have a look at it, but I'm quite as you can see, I'm quite in the trenches of doing this at the moment. But yeah, I'll definitely look it up. I'm always interested in learning new things, and I do like type checking. Okay, so I think that's what I want, and then basically, if const expr size of no, wait a minute, if the index doesn't equal size minus 1, I am not at the last one, right? Then I want to call get result I plus 1 size script result tuple, right? So I will recursively call this, which will call this, which will keep recursing until I hit the last element, which will be the bottom of the stack, which will actually be the first element. I think that's right. So effectively, this will compile time expand to the get result calls that I need. I'm indeed British. I don't know what gave it away. Yeah, okay. I think that's fine. Let's just shove it in a test and see what happens. So I want something like yeah. Kind of already answered this, right? I think it's whatever works for you and makes you productive and makes you better and more efficient at your job. I don't particularly agree in like process dogma. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But if it works for you, then do it. Like fill your boots. I prefer to try and write tests as I go along rather than leaving them all to the end, which is why I did that a few times here, and we didn't have any tests for a lot of stuff because I didn't do them as we're going along, which is now I'm trying to do them as we go along because then they're done and then I don't have to worry about them. So let's do no arg. Can I? Hang on. Can I? Static assert stood result of stood same as stood result of t how do I do this? I want to check that this in this instantiation is void. This feels still feels thematically like the right place because I want to check that this in this particular instance is void. I could put the tests in with the class, but I'd rather keep them separate as I've got all the other test code here anyway. Right. think this might be gross. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to do const auto pointer equals at runner, because it's a template. I don't think it's gonna work for me. Oh, actually no, because I'm gonna have to execute void. Yeah. Hang on. So it's. I wouldn't need the static assert then because it would fail the cast test. I'm not that fast. I'm sure it's fine. Let's write some tests, and then it'll all come out in the wash anyway. So actually we could check that these all now work as expected. Oh no, wait a minute, I don't need. If it's 0, it deduces to void, so I'm being silly anyway. What am I doing? Sorry. So no arg, single return 42. And then execute. So I should be able to do const auto res equals. So I don't need that, and then do execute std int 64t, and then res 42. Okay, nice. So now we can get a single return. So let's do, and we've already tested the no return. So now let's do std arg single multiple returns 43. So this will be std int 64t. And then I should be able to do res equals std make tuple 42 long, I think that'll be the right type. Yeah, I will do as well, but I just need to wire those in because we only support returning one type at the moment. Script runner. Get result. Again, the joys of templates. It doesn't actually tell you to invoke it. Yeah, one of them should be 43. Ah. Nice. Okay, we're getting there. So let's now do. Let's expand the script runner. So let's expand the script to be float and std string. fi float not a float. Should that not be is integer? Or didn't we do this last time? There is no is. Oh, there isn't. Is integer. Okay, no, it's fine. It's caught up. And then oh, there's no stood float. That'd be funny. Yes, but the rest of the game uses floats, so I'm going to accept the risk of a downcast there. The last return value will be the top of the Lua stack. Yes, which is why we pop them off. And that's why the script runner grabs them in reverse order, and we have to do the shenanigans with the index count. To number. And then string is string, result is not a string, and then to string. Okay. Just check that still blends. Sting. Oh yeah. My favourite is the police. Not that I could name the other two. Possible lost state. Okay, so it does indeed not like that, so I will have to cast it. That's fine. I'll accept the risk. Yes, that I have accidentally Vim macroed that. Good spot. Is it somewhat unideal to have all this compile time goodness only for your multi-return to still repeatedly lure pop one? Well, the templateness gives us the type safety in calling these functions, right? We could probably improve it by having these not called pop and then make the pop explicit and then pass in the size of R. I feel that's an optimization that we can make later. For now, I think this kind of semantically is semantically clearer for what we're doing, and I think the templates enable like us to drive this easier. I do have inline errors. There you go. There's one. I will do individual plops until I need to do a big one. Okay, so what was I doing? Script runner tests. So let's do. All right, might as well keep these. In line with each other. This Clangd sometimes just can't keep up, especially with a lot of the templating stuff. Clangd does its best, and I thank it for it. I don't think so, because I think the Lua number is signed, so I'm kind of happy to keep talking in terms of like providing C++ vocabulary types over their types. I know we do the float to double conversion. I don't want to get too bogged down with doing any more than that. Anyway, that's kind of my view on it. Right, so let's just do all of these together now. So let's do multiple arg, multiple returns, and we'll put in all the types. So this will be let's do an int, a float, and a bool. And let's do return I times f plus, is that ternaries? In Lua? Is that valid Lua? Will that do a thing? Will that convert the integer to a float and then ternarize that? I like the ligatures. It's not for everyone. I like them. I might just ask the Oracle. Shart GPT. I've got to log in. Ugh. The worst. It's got some. Oh, okay, fine. Lua ternary. So I think it's add B and 2.0 or 3.0. Condition and if true or if false. Okay, that's fine. I do not like that, because this feels like this is combining these two together rather than evaluating this and then returning one of these. But what do I know? Okay, so let's call this. It's no, oh, my print. I need to change the name of these functions, like foo. Much better. Oh, hang on, and then I need to return multiple things, don't I? I times f plus b. Can I do like not b and 2.0 or 3.0? And then I don't know, just like a string. get them all there. So now oh no, I will return all the types, don't I? So let's do. Okay, fine. Let's keep this simple. Let's do I plus 2, and then we'll just do f plus that, and I'll just keep that as that. So this takes all 3 arguments, returns 3 arguments, and oh, I don't have Boolean. What am I doing? That's a string, isn't it? No operator. No, fine. It's fine. I think we've got it. I think we're there. I think we're there. So now I can say, okay, from this I'm going to get out a std int 64t, a float, and a std string. Okay, so I have to specify those. But then it's all gone. All my code is gone. From there I'm going to call foo, and I'm going to pass it 3, 4.0 f, and a yes. It does not like that. So Set argument is something casting from the float to the int. I agree. If you're producing pure tutorial content that people are going to want to read over and over again, closely copy and paste or whatever, or transcribe from, then yeah, I would agree, don't use ligatures. Like if I produce any slideware, I don't use ligatures. But if I'm just coding live in like the environment that I'm comfortable with, then it's tough luck. Okay, we've got problems. I think we can fix them. Let's just, so this will become 5L, and then this should become yes 4 plus 2 6.0f, and then this should become the string yes. Is that Clang D or is that me? Did I not do 3L? 3 plus 2 is 5, right? Am I going mad? Oh, for the arg here, yes, I see what you mean. Ah, yes, that does disambiguate it. That's annoying. I wonder where it's casting it. Oh well, I guess you'll just have to pass those in. Most of the time you're going to pass in vectors and floats, I imagine, so I'm not that fussed. Yeah, sorry. Bleh. Still cool, us. Could be a macro. Ambiguous cool. Still saying ambiguous cool. I thought we script runner 43. Declaration of arg. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, fine. That shouldn't matter, but we'll call those A, and then. Oh, interesting. Can I just reuse the template parameter? That's already. Never thought about that. I suppose it makes sense. It's still just going to generate it in line. That's cool. Oh, I'm not doing user literals. We don't need that yet, but yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, so what's going on? What's it unhappy about? Set argument ambiguous equal to overload 40 script runner 43. Could be float, could be in64. Can I forward in a fold expression? I think I can. I think that's what I'm missing. I think this is allowing it to do a cast, whereas I once stood forward args. Gross. That implies that neither of them are correct, right? This, yeah, it's got an int, right? And then I've passed it an int, and it's gone, this could be either of these two. Oh, interesting. This is now going to be oh, it's all these tests are now grumpy because it can't disambiguate between the two of them. Interesting. So script runner tests 49. Script runner tests 49. Helps if I put in the right test case. Done. Complete. Template's done. I don't know. I think that was an hour and a half well spent. I am quite pleased with that. It's really not a lot of code. Oh, hang on, though. Where'd my code go? Yeah. I don't know why it thinks I need an expression there. I literally I've mashed something somewhere. What have I done? This was working a second ago. What have I? Unless I don't need this stood forward in that. What? Are you? What? There you go. There would. I highly doubt there would ever be a function or a concept checker for like is primitive types, because you can just use same as for that. So handle return types in script runner. I do feel like this could be a lambda though. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look, little cheeky look. How do you introducing this recursive? I think you need to use deducing this for this though, which would be fun. Const auto get result equal. Oh, we could use this as immediately invocable lambda as well potentially. Stood tuple r dot 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 res this and then we should be able to do size ti, and don't need size. Can do size of dot 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 res res nope r if size of r. Now to call a lambda, I think I have to do this auto self and then do self res. Yeah, I would say whatever gets you closest to making a game is the correct answer. I don't think what I'm doing is the correct answer, but it's fun, so I'm doing it. And I like talking about C++. I generally think you should pick whatever gets you towards making a game easiest. And Unity, I think, is probably pretty good for that. Can I immediately invoke this? Can I do something like absolutely crazy like this? Oh, it does not like that. What is that? That. Actually, I think it's easier than that, isn't it? I think it's easier than that because if this works, I'll be amazed. A non-constant reference. Res variable cannot have the type const void. Res cannot be used before it is initialized. What you chat about? Like, does this need to be const? Is it getting grumpy about that? It doesn't like this. It doesn't like this. Can you even do what I'm trying to do? C++ recursive template lambda. Recursive template lambda deducing this. Is it not possible? Can I not do what I'm trying to do? That's a shame. That would have been really, really nice, that. I'm kind of annoyed. I could ask the Oracle. New conversation. In C++23, can I call a templated lambda recursively? Question mark. It's planning the response. It's planning, guys. It's planning it. I guess the problem is, right, and is this is calling the call operator on the object that's already instantiated. This is not creating a new lambda with a different template arg, which is effectively what I want to do. What I probably want is something like, and I'm going to undo this because I think this is now like too complicated, but I want something like, I don't even know if this is the right syntax. Something like that. Right. because yeah, this here is just a reference to the lambda that is templated with the original value. I'd have to construct a new lambda, and I don't know how to get the decal, I don't know how to get the type of it, the non-templated type of it out. I don't think this is possible. I think this is just not how the language works. It's fine. It's a bit sad, but it's fine. It would have been nice. Unless... Can I use integer sequence to pre-populate the indices that... No. Let's just stick with what we got. I think I'm not quite polishing a turd, but I think I'm minimal return on investment at this point. Like, it works, and I'm happy with it. It would just be nice to lambdaize that. Hello. It's not too bad to have this, I don't think. It's... Oh, actually, hang on. I think what we can possibly do, though, is... Can we drop this for this, and then have this as a stirred tuple? And then that way I don't have to worry about this. I can just do size of ... r, and there, and then I don't have to pass the size around because the size is already implicit in the tuple, right? So I should be able to... In fact... Oh, I can't... Can I default it even with the parameter pack at the end? Okay, I'm happy that I made some improvements. I think that's not too bad. If any of this does make sense, I'm happy to have another go at explaining it. There's some... I would say there's some quite advanced modern C++ here. So... But it's not a lot of it. Like, the whole script runner is less than 70 lines, right? Which I don't think is a lot of code for what it does. Just if there's anything else we can improve. Just a 3-minute short, because you can do 3 minutes now. Just 3 minutes short of just this. Just me going. Unless... Go on then, Harand. Do you prefer this or do you prefer the macros? Let me know. I'm really keen to know. What the hell is happening in there? I don't know when you tuned in or when you came along, but basically, I'll do a super quick summary anyway, because it might be interesting for people. We have a Lua script object, which is a thin C++ wrapper over the Lua C API. So all these just boil down to Lua functions, like Lua C API function calls, setting the function, executing it, setting the arguments, getting the results. It is quite tedious. So what the script runner does is it takes the function name, some number of arguments, some number of return types, and calls, and then uses templates to expand out to make sure all those calls happen in the right order automatically for you. So the API is now to execute a function, it's just a single function call. I don't know how I feel about the phrase Nathanic code, but yeah, this is how my mind works. I think I'll use a debugger for debugging, which I will regret later by not having all the nice debugging stuff. But what I really want to do is write a bunch of templates to make what I think what I think I'm doing is making my life easier. I've not tried WebGPU yet. It's again on my ever increasingly long to-do list of things that never get to done. Yes, I agree. I think we have different paradigms. I think I think that is good because I think it creates an interesting discourse. And at no point would I ever say the way I do it is right. It's just the way that I do it, and I'm just a product of my upbringing, like as in through my professional experience. This is just how I've picked things up. But I think it creates an interesting discourse. What I think is kind of funny about streaming is it very much forces me to try and like defend my position. So I encourage people to ask questions and question what I do, because then it forces me to think critically about it and see if I can actually defend this whatever this is. Yeah. It's a shame it's not string view. Right, okay, let's comment this up. Simplify template code. Sure. C++ does not have zero size types. The minimum size of an object has to be one byte. So an empty struct has to be addressable, which means it has to have a size. So yeah, it will add a padding map. There's some isn't an empty struct. Hang on, I'm gonna. Isn't an empty struct undefined behavior in C? Yes, if the struct declaration list does not contain any named members, either directly or via an anonymous structure or anonymous union, the behavior is undefined. So yeah, I think someone told me this ages ago, and it's one of those things I've kept in the back of my mind. I think an empty struct in C is undefined behavior. Whereas I think it's defined in C++ to have an empty class or struct, and it is has a minimum size of 1 byte. Yeah. Whereas I think it is it's one of the differences between the two languages. I mean, there are many differences. One of the things that didn't just roll over straight from C to C++. Yes, I think you're right. I think that's probably. So Lua, the scripting language, can do multiple returns, but the C API can only pop them off one by one, which is again why we abstract all this away into a tuple. We're kind of at time, but I'm not quite ready to stop yet. So the next two things are to start embedding this into the game, or to start trying to patch in Vector 3. I don't know what's more interesting. Like Vector 3 is more Lua boilerplate and more tests, whereas the other one is actually starting to get it into the game, but I don't know how far we can get without being able to pass in or return a vector 3. And we could just do it as floats and then construct them ourselves, but I would worry we'd end up writing a bunch of code that we then have to replace. I don't think there's any concrete way of making the function name parameter compile time resolve to what the script which will be loading at runtime. I don't think there's anything to do about that, unless you somehow into the type system encode all the possible function names. But I feel that's quite limiting, because then you've kind of removed the advantage we want, which is to be able to do the scripting at runtime without having to rebuild the code. So I don't think so, not off the top of my head. Is it possible to patch a game so that one could steer it using arrow keys instead of having to click to get the character to move forward? It's quite a big task, because what you're now trying to do is bridge two different input systems. Presumably the game, again, without seeing the game and without knowing any of the context, at a super high level, it's going to be processing mouse clicks to do things, and you would have to find that code, find how those mouse click events end up influencing the game, and then patch that to then be driven from the arrow key. So everything is possible. It's all possible. I think it's probably quite tricky, and will involve getting quite a reasonably deep understanding of how that particular game works. I've got some notes somewhere about starting to embed things, because you have to create like tables and meta tables and all this sort of jazz, and push stuff and set up indexes, and let's have a look. See, so I was going to freeform think this out loud, and then we'll see what we get to. So basically, after we open the default libs, we will need to then effectively register our vector class type into the. So you can register. Right. So basically, there's a macro, of course, called Lua register, which sets the C function f as the new value of the global name. So what I think we need to do is patch in. We probably need to. I think there's two phases to this. I think we need to not patch in. We need to register. We need to write a C wrapper around our C++ vector, register those, and then wire those into a meta table, so that, for instance, the vector addition gets called when it sees the addition on the vector type, I think. Yeah, we're going to do it for loose level design to start with, and we'll just see what we get from there. Also, I think it's kind of fun thing to look at. Right, so what am I going to want to do? I think I need to do something like. Oh, it's a macro, isn't it? Lua register. dot get, and then the name will be something like vector3. And then I'm going to want a C function which takes the Lua state and constructs a new vector, I think that's what I want. At the moment, I'm just planning on making the levels scriptable just so we can kind of iterate on them quicker and it'd be easier for people to create their own ones. That's kind of the plan at the moment. So let's start this then. Source scripting vector3 interop.h. Right, and then I'm going to want something like maths vector3, and then actually I don't need that now. So when you construct a new object in Lua, you need to push it onto the stack, right? What's the Lua C function? What's the what's the shape of a Lua C function? So it has to conform to this, right? So I'm going to want something like a int vector3 constructor. Okay, and then this was going to take Lua state, and that's it, right? Okay. And then back to Lua script. Okay. Lua script. Okay. And then scripting slash vector3 interop.h. Okay. Then I can do something like Lua register Lua.get vector3 vector3 constructor. Yeah, okay, maybe I could admit that maybe the macros at that point will help you build it out, but I don't know, you've still got to kind of do all the logic, right? Anyway, we're gonna see how this goes. I want to be able to construct one and probably destroy one. Like, so that means we're gonna need a destructor, right? And then there's some magical gubbins, isn't there? Is it GC? Then do you... I think I need to register a function? Just looking at some... Well, because presumably this is going to have to dynamically allocate the vector, right? I don't see how it could call out to C and get a stack allocated object back. Like, presumably that would have to exist after the constructor. So at some point I'm going to have to free it up. Yes, you're right. I do need to create the meta table. Let's start there and see what we get to. Yeah, so I think for the sake of simplicity, I will probably just new the vector and then delete it in the destructor when it goes out of scope. I probably want an object pool. I don't, but surely if I have a destructor, like I won't end up in lifetime hell because won't this get called for me when it is done? Or is the issue then I did remap escape to caps lock, yes. But if I return it, I guess the lifetime then exists outside of the script, so then am I responsible for destroying it, or do I get a copy out? I think, right, so basically what I'm saying is, right, I write thanks, I guess. Okay. Oh, I hate this. Right. Function. Get pods. Not a great name, but I do something like return vector3. Whatever the I can't remember what the lambda syntax, the Lua syntax is, but something like that, right? I got an example of this that I've done before. I might have somewhere. yeah, say I do this, right? Yeah, okay. But what if I want like oh, being raided. Hero Dev again. Hello, everyone, welcome. We're just trying to figure out what the best way to do Lua is. But I want to be able to do something like local v1 equals vector 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, I want to be able to do that. Would that still work in your example? Because I would need to set. Can I set the dunder add meta table on this? As in, can I effectively have a vector 3 add function? Okay, so the vector. So what we're saying is the vector 3 table just stores the 3 floats itself. So they just be pushed on. What's my vector 3? Right. Okay. Fine. Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. I think it's better than the way I was going to do it, because I was going to basically do something like, I don't know, new vector 3. What was I going to do? I had an example of this somewhere. Yeah. The new user data. Sort of size of vector, right? The problem with the lightsaber is it's quite noisy, but I will switch it on quickly. It's got like an ambient hum to it, which is cool, but quite distracting. Okay, so when I've done this before, I've just done new user data with a pointer, but I suspect that might not be the right answer. What you're suggesting is I have, is it what? Lua, the new table? Yeah, I think I need to go away and have a play around with this, because don't think my understanding of Lua is great enough to kind of make a good show of it today. I think I'm okay doing the template stuff, but this I think requires a little bit more thought. What I might do is I might have a little play around with it off stream, delete it all, and then come back and have a better plan of attack to kind of go through this with everyone. How's that sound, everyone? Would we rather? Because it's also getting late anyway. Yeah, new table. Okay. I think I get what you mean now. So I create a new table, which is because a table is the only data structure in Lua, right? So I create a new table with XYZ in there, and then push that onto the stack, and then I can pop that off in all the methods, or pop 2 of them off, and then do the add method. I do need to create the meta table separately, I think, so I can overload dunder add and stuff like that. So I probably don't need the destructor then. Yeah, okay, I think I see what you mean now. I might just see if we can just quickly wire up some of this stuff anyway, because it'd be interesting to see how far we can get. And I think it'll help me kind of figure out what I want to do next if I can have a little bit of play around with it now. So let's do eSource scripting vector 3 interop CPP. Scripting vector 3 interop. space game. So I want to do Lua new table state, right? Yeah, I see. Yeah, I want to wire up the meta table because I want the semantic mathematical operators. You know, at the end of the file. No, because the externcy ends here because it's just the includes. I don't actually care about name mangling for here, so I'm happy for it to be. I'm happy for it to be mangled. So that will new table, create a new empty and push it onto the stack. Okay, and then is it like set value? Oh, I see. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to basically do Lua push number state. So this is going to assume it's default constructor. No, wait, because I'm going to want arguments, right? I want someone to be able to construct the vector. So so x equals check number. Yeah, because this is called like a function, right? So then I can do Lua L check number state 1, right? RY RZ 2 R3. Hash include lua.h, hash include orcslib.h, something like that. Yeah, so they're already on the stack, right? So I can, oh, if they're already on the stack, then can I not just, oh no, because pushing the new table will push them onto the stack, right? Do I need to pop them off, right? So then, well, is it just this little pop? State 3, and then push them back on. X Z. Yeah, I think I prefer this. I think this is cleaner for now. Is create table a better? Is this more like a create table? creates a new empty table and pushes it onto the stack. Parameter nr is a hint of how many elements the table will have as a sequence. Parameter n brings up here. Parameter nrec is a hint for how many other elements the table will have. Lua may use these hints to pre-allocate memory for the new table. The pre-allocation may help perform. Otherwise, you can use the function to the new table. So it's just an optimization create table. I don't think it gives you anything semantically different over new table. I think they're pushed in left to right order because that's what we've done with the function calls in the script, right? We have pushed those left to right. It's the arguments you have to pop right to left. Okay, so and then we're going to do what did we say was after that? It was set table. Set table state. I have absolutely zero confidence about that argument. I'm just figuring this out as I go along, right? I think part of I feel the feedback I get is this is part of why people tune in. It's not just for me to like real random template metaprogramming nonsense off the top of my head. It's also how I solve problems, and I'm kind of happy doing that in front of a live audience. Does the equivalent to tk equals v, where t is the value of the given index, v is the value at the top of the stack, and k is the value just below the top? I feel like this is wrong because my top of the stack will now be this, right? I know, it's really obtuse. I might just ask the Oracle what it thinks. Oh, it seems to think... what does it think? It's saying... in the Lua CPU, I push the key onto that. I don't have a key. Do I still... Is this right? Or because it's a table, do I still need to push a key onto it, right? Do I still need to push like a 1, a 2, and a 3? I've probably want my key to be X, so does that mean I need to push a string before, right? Okay, fine. So I think it's right. Okay, fine. I think I got it. Is it Lua push string state X? -2. Is it something like that? All right, and then do we think that's right? Let me just ask the Oracle. How do I set up a table for a vector 3 with 3 float components x, y, z? My table is already on the stack. Yes, you're right. That is a good point. So new table. Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. I think I can make this a little bit simpler. I think I can do push number X and then Lua set field state -2 X. How do we think about that? Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's just I think I was very naive when I first did this, and I think the user data was the first way I found, and I was like, that's the way it's done. And this is why I kind of like doing these things live, because I get differing opinions on the best way to do things, and actual sort of real industry experience and insight. Whereas I'm just kind of just here, like fucking making up as I go along, as you can see. Okay. Return 1. That seems like a good thing. These need like error checking and stuff in case they're not numbers. Yeah, you're right. When I did this before, I was unhappy with the fact that there was a dynamic allocation on every vector. It felt wrong, and I just never figured out a better way of doing it. I think I just used an object pool of vectors, and then just pre-allocated like 10,000 of them, and just handed those out and hope for the best. I mean, like, I don't know how it works under the hood. I'm going to assume it probably allocates it, but like the less you do, the better, right? I don't think they are. I think the index for set field needs to kind of go up the stack and consume down, so it's always the same offset. Let's have a look. Right. If you've got an article, feel free to share it. There's also a resources page on Discord, so feel free to pop in there if that's your thing, and share it with everyone. Either way, yes, I'm happy. I mean, I probably won't read it like right here and now, but because I'm busy flailing around with what I'm currently doing. But yeah, I'm happy for you to send me articles either in message, in an email, or on Discord. You probably can't post links on here because I've got quite aggressive settings. Right, okay, fine. So I think, assuming that blends, then what I want to be able to do now is go Lua script tests, right, and then do something like, not a great one to copy, the vector 3 constructor, and do function getVec. Return vector 3 1.0f 2.0f 3.0f, right? And let's bring in so good. I included it twice. Okay, so get vec. I can just use the script runner now, right? Interop should probably be in a separate test file, but no, let's do it properly. Let's create a separate test file. E tests Lua Interop test CPP. include steady. Hash include scripting the script. Hash include scripting. Oh, I don't need to include that. Hash include maths vector 3. Yeah, okay, I'll go fix that in a second because I'm going to move it all over to a new test anyway. So test vector 3. Sorry, it's what's it called? Lua Interop vector 3 C constructor. I realise I've not done my usual assert true false, but we're going to play fast and loose today. Get back. So now I should be able to do const auto runner equals game script runner script. Const auto res equals runner dot execute. Oh, I've got to wire in vector 3 into the. Okay, no, let's just do. Let's keep it simple. Local v equals, and then do print. Is it v.x or is it now v.x? V y. Oh, cool. I can do v. Okay, v.x, v dot y, v dot z. Print back, and then execute. Print back. And then cmake. So this is now Lua interop.cp. Okay, I made loads of changes. I've done what I advise everyone not do and make an absolute boatload of changes without running it in a while. What? Hey, cause oh yeah, of course. We can stream it a bit later. Okay, so that failed, which is exciting. Why did that fail? Let's see what's going on. Where am I? Go away. Nope. Breakpoints. Exceptions. Let's debug this. To Windows launch. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we might have to add more tooling and stuff as we go along. Failed this ensure. Oh no, I mean, that's just building out. Fail to load Lua source. Okay, so it means they're... Have I not wired it incorrectly? I've registered the constructor against that name, so I thought that meant when I called this. Does that make sense? Like, I thought, what am I missing? What am I missing? Print in the in which function? In this function? Well, it's not even constructing the script, right? It's like we can, the exception is here. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay, fine. Well, actually, we can just set a breakpoint on it, right? As we're already here, so interop. If we get this far, okay. So I don't think. Well, actually, that makes sense. I wouldn't expect this to be called because this, in my mind, this is called from this, right? And we're not even executing that script. So why is it not finding it? Can you get better like error messages out of Lua? Do I need the meta table at this point? Well, I assume it just does. It not? Does this not fail if it can't pass the code? Does it? Oh, wait. Right. That's a habit. Like, and it prints it as well. Okay, fine. Initial vector 3 interop. Stream v3. All right, I'm going to call it there because that yes, check for fuck. I'm going to call it there because that is way more than I thought we were going to get done today, which is nice. I'm glad we made a good start on the interop stuff. I kind of think I just need to have a few beers and process that a little bit, but I kind of conceptually I understand what I think is the right way to do it now. So really, it should now largely just be typing on a keyboard. So Next stream, I never said I was going to stream to 24. At no point did I say that. I said I'd stream for a little bit longer. I'm very careful with what I commit to live. Yeah, that was good. I really enjoyed that. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Good numbers today. So thank you very much for coming along. We do this every Wednesday and Sunday. So Wednesday we'll be back and we'll fill out some more of the Interop stuff. It'll be a little bit. I think now that we've sort of solved like the initial challenge of it, it will be a little bit boilerplatey, but I think it'll be fun and we'll have a good chat about it. And yeah, once we've got Vector 3 wired in, we can start replacing levels with it, which is kind of what I wanted to do like 3 or 4 streams ago. I will see if there's a raid, someone want to raid. If there's anyone doing CPP things, same category. Reach the end of the page. You have to, problem is you have to scroll all the way down to find anyone doing C++. I think we might be. I think it might just be a slot today. There's no one doing any graphicsy stuff. I'm afraid not. Okay. But like game dev is so. If you want to raid, then you're going to be more upfront about what you're doing. I'm afraid. Okay, cool. Thanks everyone for coming along. I had a great time. I'll hang around for a little bit on Discord, and then I'll see you all Wednesday when we'll do some more Lua things. Cool. Have a good one. Catch you later.